Hi, Algebra 2. In this video, we'll be going over the last example, which is example 4, shown on the screen. So let's go ahead. Okay, so we want to make a quick sketch of this graph, but when I first notice it, I'm given an equation that's not written in standard form. Remember, a polynomial in standard form needs to be written in descending exponent order. So I'm going to rewrite this equation. The highest exponent I see is x to the 12th, so that term is going to go first. So 3x to the 12th. The next one I see is 6x to the 5th, and so on and so forth. So when I rewrite my equation, it looks just like this. Okay? Now to make a sketch, I want to first figure out what my degree of the polynomial is. So remember the degree is just the highest exponent, which is 12, which means it's an even polynomial. So that means I'm going to have a graph that looks either like this or a graph that looks like this. And so now to figure out which one it is, I'm going to look at my leading coefficient, and I see that the number in front is 3. So since that number is positive, I'm going to have a graph that looks something like this and not like the one that's pointing down. Okay, let's give ourselves a point to go off of. So I'm going to put in the y-intercept. So I'm going to substitute 0 in for every x I see. Now, when I do that, I see that a bunch of these terms are going to reduce to 0. Whoops. And let's see what we're left with. So this term reduces to 0. So does this one and this one and this one. So all that I'm left with is negative 14. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 14. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on my graph. Okay, so I've got a graph that looks like this. Now we want to use our calculators to identify any maximums or minimums. So let's go ahead and do that. I've already typed it out into my calculator. So if you need to pause the video and type it into yours, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to hit graph. And my graph looks like this. If yours does not look like this, here's the window of, and here are the numbers that are in my window so that you can replicate that and so that your calculator will look the same. You don't have to have these exact ones. This is just what I have. Okay, now let's identify any minimums first. So we're going to go second, trace. We're going to come down here to minimum. And here's one minimum, but I need the left bound. So I'm going to go slightly to the left. The right bound is going to be slightly to the right. And put that here. And my first guess for my minimum is going to be here. So I've got one minimum at x equals negative 1.04. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste that into my solution over here. Move this here, down here to where my answer is. Perfect. So that's one of my minimums. I see that I've got another minimum right here, so I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to go second, trace, down to minimum. And the left bound is going to be slightly to the left of that, so right about here. The right bound is going to be slightly to the right of that, so I'm going to put that here. And I'm going to put my cursor on where I think the minimum is occurring, right here. So here is another minimum. These are relative minimums. And now let's find our relative maximum. So here's a relative maximum right here. That's a turning point on the graph. So we're going to go second, trace, come down to maximum. My left bound is going to be slightly to the left of that. So I'm going to put that right about here. My right bound is going to be slightly to the right. Put that right here. And I'm going to put my cursor right on top of where I think that maximum is occurring. And here is my maximum. I'm just going to copy that. And now we're done with this problem. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your teacher.